Good morning everyone and welcome back to Morning Markets from True Potential. First of all, many thanks to those that keep subscribing to Morning Markets on our YouTube channel. For those that are maybe watching for the first time, please just hit subscribe and you'll get all the great content from True Potential into your YouTube feed. Looking at asset markets and how they performed yesterday, we started the week thinking about two data points that would be coming out on Thursday, the ECB meeting and then also the consumer price index data from the US. We'll come on and look at each of those in just a moment. Looking at asset markets in general, didn't really see much in terms of equity market movements in the UK or Europe yesterday. More of a stronger and positive performance from the US, particularly the NASDAQ, the more growth-orientated areas of the market there. The NASDAQ 100, the largest 100 stocks, I should say, in the NASDAQ, up over 1%. That's very much tied into what was happening in the bond market, a theme that as a team we've been discussing over the past couple of days. We saw the US Treasury market come in further, and you can see that in the chart just on the screen at the moment. So the 10-year yield in the US at 1.43%, taking us back to levels I think you can see on the chart to where we were at the beginning of March. So quite a material move over the past couple of days. Turning to those two data points that the market would be looking at, ECB really, it wasn't very much about what would be changed. Nothing was expected to be changed in terms of policy rates or quantitative easing programs. Very much focusing in on just the commentary from Christine Lagarde in the press conference. In terms of what she said there, very much focusing in on really the ECB are there to support. If they were to see any unorderly tightening of financial conditions in Europe, they would certainly step in to alleviate those. So that narrative from central banks of offering that support to economies continuing to remain. Turning to the US then and looking at the inflation numbers, and inflation, as you'll appreciate, is something that we as a team have been talking about. It's been front and center of market participants' minds over the past number of months. What did we get yesterday? Well, we saw that annual inflation, annual consumer price inflation in the US was up 5% year on year. There was also an increase on a month-on-month basis, although the month-on-month increase was not as strong as we've seen in previous months. I think it's also then important to look at it on a core basis, so stripping out the more volatile energy and food component of inflation. And we saw there inflation on an annualized basis up 3.8% from this time last year. Again, let's dig into that a little bit to think about this discussion that's ongoing around whether it's a temporary increase in inflation, it's transitory as the terminology that's been used in the market, or is it more pronounced? If we dig into it yesterday, and it's really interesting to look at it, used cars and trucks are one of the strongest components within the inflation dynamic at the moment. That's very much tied back to that theme of shortages of new cars in the marketplace. Again, a temporary phenomena. So I think what we can say is that in terms of the underlying components of inflation, there is certainly a temporary nature to what we're seeing at the moment. Again, now we'll move forward and look into June and think about the inflation number there. But clearly we're getting through that period of annualizing those very low prices from the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic last year. Focusing in just briefly then on the UK this morning, we've had the GDP report for the 3 months to April, again continuing to provide us evidence of the ongoing reopening of the UK economy, very much being driven by the services side of the economy reopening as we've emerged from lockdown and the various restrictions there. If we look at that number, it was 2.3%. So again, UK on that continuing path to recovery. I'll leave it there for today. Please do join us again next week. Many thanks.
Subscribing to True Potential YouTube channel is quick and easy. Simply go to your YouTube app on your phone, type in True Potential and press the red subscribe option. You'll then be notified as and when new videos are released.